Good afternoon and welcome to Parashat Vayetze. Recent studies show that there are incredibly emotional benefits to the concept of gratitude. People who have negative thoughts all day have a very strong negativity muscle in their brains, and the strongest muscles get used more. So therefore, if we intentionally practice gratitude, that exercises what we call your positivity muscle, which incredibly begins you to automatically think more positively. Gratitude leads to finding the good things in life, and many areas in life are generally improved. Improved relationships. We talk about this idea of improved self-esteem, improved decision-making, a strengthened immune system, improved sleep patterns, and finding more joy and pleasure in everyday life. However, in life, like in all things, gratitude can be very nuanced. And in the Sedra, after Leah has 4 children, Reuven comes out of the field carrying her dudaim, which some commentaries explain was some form of fertility plant to help women get pregnant. Her sister Rachel comes along and asks her sister Leah, can she have these dudaim? And Leah really responds harshly. Batomelah, the Torah says, she said to her, Hamat kachtechet ishi, is it not enough that you've taken my husband? V'lakachta gam et dudae beni, now you want to take the plants that my son is bringing? Rachel responds, okay, you can be with your husband tonight, and you give me the plants instead of that particular arrangement. It's a very strange response. What do you mean Rachel stole her husband? Who was the one that gave Leah the signs underneath the chuppah, the canopy, so she wouldn't be embarrassed, and literally gave her husband away? How could Leah possibly ignore Rachel's incredibly special kindness? Where's the gratitude? And Leah, actually, in the Talmud, is the one that really is the paradigm of all the matriarchs that taught the world what gratitude is all about. She has her 4th son and she calls him Yehuda, which means to thank. So what's going on? So there's an answer I saw from the Pelei Yoetz, Rav Eliezer Papo, in his book Elef HaMagen. And he says the following, that from the very outset of the story, Yaakov is the one that loves Rachel. We know that. And it was a love that actually transcended the fact that she couldn't have children. When Leah gives birth to his firstborn son, Reuven, Leah says, Ki ata yehavani ishi. Now my husband will love me, because she understood at that point that Rachel had one type of relationship with a husband that was very, very special, and that now she would have a different type of relationship. So when Rachel comes along and asks for these flowers from Leah, it's not just a simple request for plants, or perhaps an olive branch to help her deal with her personal fertility challenges. Leah saw this as Rachel's attempt to grow her special relationship with Yaakov at the expense of Leah. And Leah was extremely firm about it. I think what this insight suggests is that Leah's gratitude was never a question. Someone can continue to be grateful, continue to be thankful, can continue to be appreciative, but still express the complexity of the relationship or the situation. And yet, if we read on this dialogue, it was a dialogue that really was a turning point in the relationship between these 2 sisters. Rachel paused and was uber sensitive to the feelings of her sister Leah, and gives her another opportunity to have children. And a few verses later, we are taught by the Midrash that Leah prays not to have another boy, so that her sister Rachel would have a greater share of the tribes. My dear friends, people are complex. Relationships with family, with friends, with community, they don't negate the fact that we have an obligation of expressing what we call hakarat hatov, recognizing the good, showing appreciation. But one can find appropriate ways to maybe express frustration without having to be ungrateful. But the world that we live in promotes this incredible idea that we live in a black and white world. It's absolutely all or nothing. And that's the approach to everything, including gratitude. This week's story of the relationship between Leah and Rachel teaches us an important lesson about gratitude, that even in those non-black and white but grey areas of our lives, we can still continue to be grateful. Shabbat Shalom.